You're on mute. President Kalfayan, you're on mute.
Teresa, you can.
Try it again.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the June 15, 2021 Glendale Parks Recreation and Community Services Commission meeting. Due to the evolving situation with COVID-19 and health recommendations from LA County Health Department, the commission meeting will be available to the public electronically. Due to social distancing requirements, the public will not be able to attend the meeting. The meeting can be viewed on local cable, Charter Cable Channel 6, and AT&T UVerse Channel 99. You may also stream online through our website, www.glendaleca.gov, by scrolling at the way of the bottom of the web page and selecting live streaming, which is the third icon from the left. For public comments and questions during the meeting, call 818-937-8100. Please don't call in advance for the agenda item. With this being said, may I have roll call, please?
Yes, of course. Commissioner Eberly?
Here.
Patel?
Here.
Sardarbegian?
Present.
Wolfson?
Here.
President Kalfayan?
Yes.
The agenda for March 15th, 2021 regular meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside of City Hall on or before March 9th, 2021. Item 2, upcoming council agenda items.
Good afternoon, President Kalfayan, members of the commission. On March 23rd, we have a joint meeting with Glendale City Council and the Housing Authority, accepting of grant funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the 2020 Continuum of Care Program. Also that evening for City Council, we have March for Meals proclamation. We have a joint report with Public Works on the Montrose Park Improvement Project Phase 1 award of construction contract. And we have another joint project with Public Works for the Brand Park restroom ADA improvements. And we also have a report, information only, regarding an update of the Senior Services Committee. On March 30th, we have a City Council report on Verdugo Workforce Development Board's application submission, request for approval for a local area, subsequent designation, and local board certification. Thank you.
Next item, please.
Commission staff comments.
Okay, let's go. Commissioner Eberly.
I have a couple of comments. First of all, thank you for all the good work you're doing. I mentioned before the call that some members of my family just got their second shots at the Civic Auditorium, and I know that's a huge help to people in our community. I was at Griffith Manor Park the other day, and I just noticed that we're still having drainage problems there, which I know has been an ongoing issue. It was right after the rain, but I'm just wondering if there's anything we can do with that. And then also, I realize this is getting a little ahead of ourselves and we're still in the middle of the pandemic, but I wanted to make sure that as things taper, that we capture the knowledge from this period of time. I know that you guys have learned so much and done so much good work during this time, and it would be a shame if it sort of got forgotten once we're no longer dealing with the pandemic, because other things will happen and we'll face other emergencies. So I hope that there's a mechanism in place to make sure that we capture all of the knowledge that you've gained.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Patel, if we have any comments?
Yes, yes, I do. First, actually, I have a question, and maybe the city attorney can answer it. If do motions have to be proposed a meeting prior to when the motion occurs, or can it be proposed the meeting of?
President Kalfai and Commissioner Patel, normally a motion is taken on an item that is agendized. So if it's relating to the item that's on the agenda, you would introduce a motion and get a second and a vote would be taken. If it's on an item that is not agendized, it would just be a request to bring back a report. And if there is a second from another commissioner, then staff would return with a report. And at that time, based on the request, a motion would be introduced or a resolution if it's fee-based so that a vote would be taken.
Okay, so in specific, I'm wondering, because something is on the agenda next meeting, by be proposed at that point rather than now? If so, okay, to be clear, I know that there's a report coming out next meeting on the comparison of natural turf versus artificial turf. So my question is, if I wanted to propose a motion to vote in regards to the commission's support or opposition to an item in that to specifically artificial turf, the use of it for athletic fields, would that be a motion that I would have to propose now to be agendized for next meeting, or could it thereby be mentioned the next meeting and be voted upon in that meeting following the report from the city?
Yeah, it would be following the report from the city.
Right.
Yeah, you
right,
will make the motion. And
right, okay.
You would make the motion following the report. And the motion would be something similar to like the commission, a motion, Parks Commission recommending to City Council, A, B, and C.
Got it. Okay, so I don't need to specify anything now to make sure that there's room, time, availability to have a motion for next week following the report.
No.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's what I needed to know.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Commissioner Sardabagian. Any comments? Here.
All right, I realized I was talking without being unmuted. Not really. I mean, I hope I'm very actually anxious for the report regarding the fields. As I've mentioned before, I have two sons and they're involved with soccer and stuff. So especially with last week's rain and the week before rain and stuff, I realized that this is it's a pretty serious thing to consider long-term as far as our soccer fields are concerned. So I'm really, really curious to see what those reports reveal and, what we're going to be able to do going forward. Because the usage of the fields, both from the actual usage, but the way kids kind of see it is important to me and a lot of parents that I've kind of recently talked to about. So I'm just can't wait for the report to come out so we could kind of study it a little bit.
So we'll.
No, that's it. No, I was just making a comment. I have no questions.
Okay, we'll carry it on next meeting. Okay.
Actually, I have one more question. I'm so sorry. One other question. Oh, I wanted to ask, should I wait till everyone else comments?
Okay, that would be better. Let me go to Commissioner Wilferson, and then we'll come back to you.
Hi, thank you. The only comment or question I had was, I noticed that the artificial turf item was not on this month's agenda. So for clarity, we will be, I guess, discussing that next month. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had. Thank you.
President Coffey and members of the commission, yes, we were supposed to come to the commission this month for the artificial turf report. We have a very comprehensive report that Mr. Panosian and the recreation staff are working on. We're calling a number of cities that use other natural turf systems, such as the EPIC system. We're calling a number of other cities surveying youth groups. It's going to be very comprehensive. Basically, we would like to provide all the information possible so the commission can decide and make their recommendations to City Council. So I do like to thank the commissioners for their patience. I know the request was made back in, I think, September, October. COVID really didn't help us out, but we have a lot of good information, and we'll bring the report back to commission in April. Thank you.
Thank you for being thorough about it.
Commissioner Wolferson, are you done? Are you done?
I was just thanking them for doing a thorough job.
Okay. And Commissioner Patel, do you want us to come back, or he answered your question?
I know. Actually, I have one other request, actually. Is it possible to get next month's report, which includes the artificial turf versus natural turf report? Is it possible to get that a week prior to the meeting rather than just the Friday or the Thursday before? I just want to be really look through it and really be able to digest it all. That and the GEC letter that came to us a month ago proposing their arguments as well.
Yes, President Coffey and members of the commission. The last two meetings we have been posting our agendas the Tuesday before, which is about 6 days. We'll do our best to post it the Monday before the meeting, which is our 7 day. But I just want to, I do want to notify the commission that we have been posting at least 6 days in advance instead of that Friday, afternoon, 2 p.m. Deadline. That was a request that was brought up by City Council for City Council reports and all of our boards and commission reports. Thanks to staff, we are getting our reports in a timely manner, and we hope to have the agenda ready to go, posted and published 7 days before our next meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. That's it.
Any other question? So let's go to next item, please.
Next item is oral communications. And it does not look like we have any callers.
Okay, next.
Next is consent items. At A is approval of minutes of the commission special meeting held on February 22nd, 2021.
Okay. Do we have any corrections or any questions about last meeting? If we don't, can I have a motion to move it, please?
Move that we approve the minutes.
Okay, a second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Commissioner Eberly?
Yes.
Patel?
Yes.
Sardar Bacon?
Yes.
Wolfson?
Yes.
He's saying yes, even though we can't hear. President Kalfayan.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Next item, please.
Next item is action items. At A, we have Pelanconi Park playground replacement. It's a motion recommending that the Glendale City Council approve the conceptual plans for the Pelanconi Park playground drafted by Game Time care of Great Western Recreation, a Playcore company, and approve a resolution to dispense with bidding process set forth in the Glendale Municipal Code, Section 4.12.010A1, and authorize the purchasing administrator or his designee to solicit competitive bids and execute an agreement pursuant to GMC Section 4.12.010A3 for the Pelanconi Park Playground Replacement Project.
Yes, good afternoon, President Kalfayan, members of commission. As we did last month with the Glen Oaks Park playground replacement, we have a presentation that we'd like to share with you on the Pelanconi Park. And let me begin sharing. Please let me know if this seems to be working.
If you want to start your slideshow, yes.
Yes, thank you. So Pelanconi Park is a neighborhood park, about 3 acres in size. It has a baseball field. It does have a restroom building on property. There is a half basketball court adjacent to the baseball field. And we have a playground for children ages 2 to 5, preschool age, as well as 5 to 12. It's within the one same playground area. We have fitness equipment we installed a couple of years ago, which some of the commissioners here should recollect. There are picnic tables, and there's a lot of passive park space, turf space at the park. This is what Pelanconi Park looks like. At the north, you see there is Glen Oaks Boulevard, a grand view on the west, and Cleveland Road is on the right. And the upper north is where the baseball field is, and everything I mentioned would be, south of that. So the project's background, staff requested funding from the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee last year. The committee approved $494,000 for this project, and the city council adopted the budget, thus approving the project on June 2nd of 2020. And given the fact that this project, similar to Glen Oaks 1, is within council's priority to develop and maintain sustainable facilities, it enhances quality of life of residents, provides safe, accessible, active play space, as well as it promotes physical activity and fitness for our youth. And the project scope will replace the existing 2 to 5 and 5 to 12-year-old appropriate apparatus. It is going to be similar to the last one. You'll see a lot of similarities in this presentation. It will be poured in place, ADA accessible surfacing. The entire playground size is 4,400 square feet. It is a smaller playground than what we've seen. It will have shade structures covering the playground. There will be no impacted trees, as all of the trees are outside the perimeter of the play space. We're looking at installing a seat wall at the west end of the playground. This is one to provide seating for our parents. At the same time, it addresses the issue of both sides not being as even. So it is a grade issue. They're fixing the grade issue by installing a seat wall, as well as site improvements, ADA improvements. We're working with building and safety to identify what improvements are necessary to the walkways, the pathways, and if there are other improvements necessary, we'll be working with our friends in Public Works to complete those improvements. Here's a look at the existing playground. As you see, at least this one tree is outside of the play space. There is a triple bay swing set, a trek slide, a very small trek slide at the very end, as well as the 5 to 12 playground. And from the other side, it is a 2 to 5 playground installed. It's been there for 20 years. This is a very old playground. Our proposed playground, again, maintains the same exact structure of the play space. We're not increasing, we're not encroaching on anything else. It is laid out with the 5 to 12 at this far, I guess, the south end of my picture here. In the middle will be the 2 to 5, and then the swings will go in the north end. And here's a view of the entire play space. We are reducing the swing bays to allow for additional play, but we're going to have your normal swings, a bucket swing, as well as the 8A interactive swing, a 2 to 5 play space, all shade covered, and a 5 to 12 with other ADA amenities, accessible amenities around the perimeter. Here's the look of the 2 to 5 play space close up with the slide, climbing apparatus, and some play. We looked at a couple of different themes, and we settled on this castle theme for the structure itself, for the 5 to 12. It does have the looped enclosed slide, as well as a couple of open slides, kind of experiences from last month's comments from our community. And here's again some climbing apparatus for the 2 to 5 on one end. This is the entire playground proposed. So again, touching on the accessible play elements, we will have the entire area will be accessible because it's going to be poured in place rubber surfacing. It'll have some use of sensory panels around the perimeter. We're looking at inclusion of cozy place seating within the same play area. And again, as we mentioned earlier, the expression adaptive tandem swing will be one of the swings we install to allow individuals with abilities, challenges to use the swings as well. Same as last time, we're going with Game Time as the designer, and they are an environmentally friendly company. They're one of the first to join the U.S. Green Building Council, and they focus on environmental concerns, increase energy efficiency, and they reduce waste. And again, Game Time products are significantly made from pre-consumer and post-consumer recycled materials. And all of their equipment and materials are recyclable in case when its time is up, we will be able to recycle those as well. Estimated cost of the project for the purchase, demolition, and installation, the estimate is $445,000. And as we mentioned last month, we're also applying for the discount for the grant for this project. And it covers about 75 to 100% of the cost of the playground itself, which in this case estimated at $59,000 credit for the grant, for a total cost, net cost of the project, $386,000. And we're plugging in 10% contingency for the site improvements that may be necessary at $38,000, $631. And for soft costs, project management plans, permits, we're looking at $28,500 for. The current estimated project cost is $453,000. And similar to our last proposal at Glen Oaks, whatever we demo and remove, all recyclable material will be recycled at local recycling centers. And the funding, we thank the advisory committee for CDBG for funding this project at $494,000. And as mentioned, also the Prop 68 grant application through Game Time, we will be applying for that as well to gain the $59,000 savings or the discount on the playground, which is applied directly. This is yet a statewide program working with Game Time directly. And the tentative project schedule, commission approval, if commission approves this project today, we will be taking both projects in conjunction to council. Glen Oaks and Pelham County will go to council together. We'll look at the best available scheduling for April or May, and looking at the next 6 months after that to prepare the construction documents, go through plan check, get all the necessary permits in place. The manufacturing and shipping after the award of the contract and all the permits have been approved takes about 4 to 7 weeks. We're estimating that to be between November and December for completion. And construction is yet again about 4 to 6 weeks, December to January of 2022. We should be able to open this playground for the community in February 1, 2022. And again, if we move things a little quicker in the construction documents, plan check phase, all of the schedule will be shifted up and we'll be able to open the playground sooner, which is our goal. And the anticipated next steps, we will take this item to council for their approval of the purchase order and an installation contract. It will submit the application for the Prop 68 grant, finalize the CDs, start the demolition, recycling, and construction of the new playground to follow as the last step. That is all I have for this project. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer for the commission.
Hello, Commissioner Eberly.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
My first question is just, I noticed that park, the passive area that you pointed out, does tend to be not used that much. And I'm just wondering if you gave any thought to sort of changing the orientation of things in the park, like having it take up. Sorry, go ahead.
Commissioner Eberly, the park is used on the weekends heavily. The open turf area in the south end of the park is just passive open turf. We'll keep a closer eye on it, see how it is being used. At this time, there are no additional plans, but if we feel that there is better use of that area, we will always consider, options and alternatives to enhance the use of that area as well. Down the road, we do keep it open turf. And for some kids and families, if they want to kick the ball around and have a little fun while they're picnicking, while we do always have the opportunities to plant additional trees, we can add picnic tables, down the road. As of right now, there are no additional plans, but it's something we can always keep an eye on. The picnic tables in that park, we are looking in the future to replace them as well to enhance the overall use of the area. And with this project, some of the walkways will likely get enhanced, working with Public Works, maybe having to shave things down and make it more accessible. The park itself, the parking is around the perimeter of the park. As you noted, there is no specific parking within the park, but opportunities and ideas are always welcome to enhance parks, and we can welcome whatever idea the commission might have for that end for the park.
Okay. My only other question was, it just the structures look like they're more static than the Glen Oaks Park ones, and like Palmer, like less sort of spinny stuff and moving stuff. And I was wondering why.
Yeah, the one of the reasons is because of the space. This one is 4,400 square feet of space. It doesn't allow us to put in, such as the track slide that we put in. That one is taken over the sand volleyball space, which we wanted to change that use. This one, if we enhance or expand the use to allow for something a bit more, such as the track slide, it would take up from the park space. And adjacent to the playground, there are a lot of trees, mature trees, which will be impacted. Hence, we wanted to avoid impacting the trees. We want to keep it the same exact space, not change the use of the park. We kept these. Now, as far as additional climbing elements, we can always look at that as we are designing, add additional elements that require more climbing upper body use. I'll talk to the manufacturer what else we can be added to enhance that to this design. That's doable. Yes.
Okay, that would be great. I live in pretty close to there, and we tended not to go to that playground just because it was a little bit, it felt like more of a little kid playground, I think. And that I kind of got the same feeling from looking at the plans, that it just didn't seem like it would be super fun for older kids. But actually, I think part of it is just, it's hard to tell how tall those things are in the drawing. The big slide is pretty big.
Yeah, they're big slide. They're big size slides. But we'll note that and see what else can be enhanced to make it more, to address the comments that you made.
One more thing is just, I always see a lot of older men sitting out and playing at that park, and I'm just wondering if there's anything we can do to make them more comfortable, because like they are using it. They are the primary users of everything below the baseball field. So I just want to make sure that we're helping them out however they need to be, whatever they need.
Okay. I mean, that's Commissioner Everly, that is the area where we put the fitness equipment to give them some, rather than playing cars all the time, get some exercise going, get the blood flowing. Is the reason why we put the exercise equipment right there at the south end of the baseball field. And again, the picnic tables will be revisiting and looking at funding options to enhance and replace them. And towards the south end, again, it is open space. A lot of community members like open space than more busier. So we're looking at a balance of what can be done. But as far as the older gentlemen using the tables, playing their cards and enjoying the park, we can always look at options to enhance that for them as well.
I know you always do. Thank you so much.
Okay, Commissioner Patel.
Hi, yes. I also don't live very far from that park, and I have to tell you, I have not spent any time there. So I'm very excited about these plans. I'm not within walking distance, but I'm certainly within a 4-minute drive. So I did go over there this weekend and took a look at the park, and it is an interesting shape, not conventional. But that being said, there seems to be a lot of different things that you've managed to have in that space. You've got the baseball field, you've got the playground, you have the exercise equipment, and then you have the green open space, and you have just such lovely, huge trees there. I mean, they're just fabulous. So I really appreciate the fact that you're approaching this from the perspective of wanting to keep and maintain the lovely natural shade that's there. Another thing I noticed about the park as well as Commissioner Eberly was the green open space. And I personally am a big proponent of that. I don't have a backyard. So for me, I go to a park, and when there's open space, that's really exciting for me and my son. That being said, I I noticed, and correct me if I have this wrong, I don't think there's any sort of fence. There's fencing around the playground, but there's no fencing that goes around the green space. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, Commissioner
So
Patel, that is correct.
Yeah. So I want to say that, if considering the fact that it's at a V shape, right, and you've got two roads that sort of, that hug it from either side. It I know this is probably outside of the playground area, but I do want to just mention if there was any thought in the future to putting some kind of low level wall or some kind of fencing, maybe with some outlets to go in and out into the green space, that might behoove children to be able to kick a ball around there, or parents to let kids throw frisbees around, because the worst thought is my kid's going to kick a ball and then chase after it into the road. So it's hard to use that green space in the sense of allowing kids to run around and really have the freedom that they might have, let's say, on a playground, if in fact there's no way to sort of buffer them from, taking a few steps off the grass. So those are my thoughts on that. The playground itself, I really love the plans that you guys have. I would say, well, I have a couple quick questions. The plans obviously don't remove any of the exercise equipment, it sounds like. The wall seating, the playground equipment, I'm sorry, the exercise equipment is up against the wall or right near the wall. So how does the seating, being a parent with a young kid, many playgrounds, there's never enough seating to be able to sit down, relax, and watch my kid play in the playground. I'm not saying that that's always the case, but I mean, there's always lots of parents on a pretty day using, sitting. So it's hard to find that space. Is the idea that the seating is going to be there so that more parents can sit and be able to watch their kids play? Is that the idea?
Yes, Commissioner Patel, that is specifically the idea. So you mentioned the question about the fitness equipment. Fitness equipment are on the other side of the walkway. Excuse me.
Okay.
So the concrete walkway splits the fitness equipment from the playground. So they are separate. And the seating we're mentioning will be literally abutting the playground. As you know, each playground has a concrete perimeter border to keep the play space separated from everything else. One of those little borders will be elevated, so it becomes more of a seating for the parents. We also, based on parent requests in the past, it was about a year ago, we did put additional concrete seating, like a bench on the outside of the playground, providing for more seating space for parents that can watch their kids. And as we finish this project, as the designs are done and the drawings are done, we know exactly how the seating is going to be. We always have the option and opportunity to add additional benches around the perimeter of the playground to allow for additional seating. Now, if you note from the pictures, the south end of the playground, there is a fence because there's a drop from the elevation drops a little bit. Hence the fencing, and we're kind of restricted with that as well. But the north and east side, west side of the playground, we have the ability to add a bench maybe, and it's all going to be contingent on how the seat wall is going to be, how high we're going to be able to make it. As we get into the drawings, we'll be considering those, and if necessary, definitely add additional seating for parents to watch their children.
Great. One other thought I wanted to relay is that, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I would say, as far as the fencing, I think we could look at that for a future project. You mentioned the south and the pyramid corner, the tip of the park. We could look at that as, an option for the future for fencing. We'll talk it out as far as with Mr. Blunik and what will be ideal, and talk to our friends in Public Works and Traffic and Transportation, everyone involved, to see how ideal that would be, and it's something we could consider for the future to address the children playing down in that corner area as well. So I want to make sure I address that comment.
Yeah, I think it'd just be more accessible to parents with kids running around there and really utilizing that space if it felt a little less, dangerous. I don't know what other word. Worrisome. Maybe that's a better word. Worrisome. You could even consider putting in a pathway that goes around the perimeter of the park so kids could scooter or bike. just another thought of ways of using the open space. That being said, I want to just put out there to consider maybe. I love the shades that you have going on because playgrounds do need shade, even if it's plastic. But that being said, maybe some consideration given to the angles in which the shades are over the slides. As a parent with a young child who likes to go down slides, certain times of the day, certain slides aren't very accessible because the shade is just not adequate and the slides just get too hot. So there's a lot of slides in these plans, and they look really great. I do like the fact that there's a lot of open slides. Clearly understand the need for one closed slide because some kids do like that. But given the amount of open slides, just, I'm just thinking like angles of the sun with the shade, making sure those slides do fall under the actual shade angles as much as possible. And hold on one sec. And one last thought. I just want to relay how much I appreciate that Game Time is a company that's part of the USGBC. I like your forward thinking. I like that you're using conscientious contractors. I just really appreciate that. Oh, and one other thought, I want to echo what Commissioner Eberly said. If there is a way to provide something, a climbing aspect for older kids, or just something that allows them a little bit more activity for the older kids, that I think I would concur with that statement, because kids, it'd be nice to be able to find ways to still engage the 10, 11, 12-year-olds who might come to the park.
Duly noted. I have it down on my notes.
Yep. Oh, and one last thing. Sorry, I keep adding stuff. I want to just say, ask you, what is a cozy space, really quick?
Commissioner Patel, the last time when the concept of the Glen Oaks Park was shared, I had additional calls from the community, and what they felt a cozy space would be something that's somewhat hidden, yet kids can go inside and underneath to be able to play. We were able to add that feature in. Again, it was after a commission meeting, public input. We're able to incorporate that into it. And with these structures, it allows for somewhat of a cozy space. So individuals, children that may have some autistic challenges might feel more comfortable. So we're looking at incorporating that in the design as well. So that's what I mean by cozy space.
That was exactly what I was hoping to hear. That's great. I think that's important. And so that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Sardabakian?
So I know that I'm familiar with that area and the baseball field. Are there any plans to do anything to the baseball field? Because I know it's used for multiple sports, not just baseball or softball. So is there anything? I mean, in the future, I know this would possibly be a different project anyway, but time-wise, is there anything else? Hopefully happening to the field or?
Commissioner Sardabakian, in our long-term planning for CIP, we've highlighted the need to do some improvements at the ball field fencing, specifically the perimeter, because some of it is, it's old, it's beat down. And the field itself, every 3 to 4 years, it depends on the field. The heavier use fields get cycled through. As you know, that we did at Glen Oak, at Glorieta recently. We do enhance the field, sometimes the entire field, sometimes more of a TLC, tender love and care, whatever is needed to get the field playable, because it is used both for baseball and soccer. And it has, the open field, the outside, which is useful by soccer groups, and then the baseball is played. There's a driveway to the basketball court, the half basketball court. We're looking at that as part of one of the projects next couple of years to resurface that area and allow for an enhanced basketball play. So there are some plans, nothing is concrete. It is part of our long-term consideration that site, that location specifically gets some improvements as well.
Okay, and then what is the base of this playing field going to be? Is it the rubberized, like kind of like the soft rubber, or?
Yes, Commissioner Sardarbegian, the approach is similar to the Glen Oaks. It is poured in place rubber surfacing, which is
Okay.
soft surfacing that prevents injuries from falls.
I see. Okay. I think, those are the only questions I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wolferson, if you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions and some comments. The first thing, I'll start with the comments. From the renderings, I noticed the playground equipment is a little heavy on slides. And also the footprint of the equipment seems small. Now, I heard you say you're keeping it the same as the previous, so I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to be a brat about it, but it's for a park of 3 acres, a little bit more than 3 acres. It's a little small, but that's okay. I'll live with it. So my two questions are, first of all, we're dispensing with the competitive bidding, and I know I asked about this with respect to Glen Oaks Park, but I just want to reiterate what I think the answer was to make sure I understood it correctly. And if I understand it correctly, and by the way, I do like Game Time very much as a company, so I gather that they're basically custom designing the playground for us, and therefore it would be very difficult if it was even possible to get competitive bids. Have I correctly understood this?
Commissioner Wolfson, you've been doing this too long. You answered it exactly as it was. And again, the competitive bidding process with Glen Oaks, even with this one, on the playground design itself, once we adopt the design, this is the playground we're buying. However, even though we're saying dispense with the competitive bidding, we will be working with purchasing to bid the projects for installation. So as Ms. Alexanian read the motion in, that is the motion that was recommended to us by purchasing, that this would be the language we present to council. And actually, it was at the idea of purchasing, we figured why not move Pelenconi to commission this month rather than later, and then take both projects together to council, ask for the same approval to dispense with the normal process of a capital project bidding, where you hire a architect to come in and develop the designs and plans. And the reason why we're approaching that route with playground, once you already have a design, the manufacturer will provide the detailed drawings for the design. So for us to be, good stewards of the city's finances, why hire another architect? We already have the plans. So we are going to get into a professional services agreement with Game Time to have those drawings stamped by an engineer and go through the permit process, prepare the specifications, and work with purchasing to bid that out. So in a way, yes, we're saying dispense with competitive bidding, but we're still going to be bidding the project out so we can get more individual groups, contractors, licensed contractors that are certified to install playgrounds. It has to have certain certifications to be able to install the playground. But you are absolutely correct. As it goes for the playground itself, it has to be this design because it is their design and their manufactured product.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much for confirming that I understood it and also for giving that additional information. My other question has to also do with the money. I'm a money person. So I noticed we have a 10% contingency built in. And then even with all of that and the soft costs and so on, it comes up to 453,000 roughly. But we have set aside 494,000 of CDBG funding. And so my question is, what happens to that overage, that 41,000 of CDBG funding that is in excess of the amount? And then part B of this question is, I just am wondering if we could ever see a financial report after the fact of what actually happened with these projects. I'm sure the finance department is categorizing all the expenditures and so on. And you even gave us the budget account number for it. And I know probably I could find it in the CAFR, but I'm not, even a CPA like me would have a little trouble finding it probably.
Hey, Commissioner Wolfson, I think as we annually present the CIP projects, usually September, October, we can come back during that time and identify the closed projects, what the breakdown of these costs, or we just have to add a little more to the presentation. We can address that. That's part two of your question. Part one with CDBG, I think Ms. Kavarian is much better geared to answer that question, but that releases those funds back and allows the CDBG Advisory Committee to determine how best to reallocate those funds. And for us, the application of the grant is going to help because it reduces the cost. And if there are additional funds left at the end of the project, we'll make recommendations to the CDBG Advisory Committee to likely maybe look at shifting those funds to another project that we have or other ideas that we might have. So, Ms. Kavarian, I will defer to you if I have that understanding correctly.
Good afternoon, President Kalfai and members of the Parks Commission. Maggie Kavarian here with the CDBG Advisory Committee. That is correct, Mr. Panosian. What happens with our capital improvement projects is that any money that is left over goes into an undesignated fund balance, and it's used directly for capital improvement projects only. And what happens is the following year or the years in future years, the advisory committee will make funding recommendations based on that funding, and we will give them that update and that report.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Thank you both for explaining and answering my question.
Okay, we had most of the questions are answered. If there is no other questions, I think for the walls, we have to go to the Trump administration to add more walls around the park. But let's have a motion to move this project. I need a motion.
I make motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Take roll call. Commissioner Eberly,
Yes.
Patel,
Yes.
Sardar Bagian,
Definitely, yes.
Wolfson,
Yes.
President Kalfan.
Yes. Next item, please.
Next item is number 7. We have reports for information only. At A, we have Therapeutic Recreation Program Annual Report.
Good afternoon, President Kalfayan and members of commission. My name is Kenneth Kahn, and I'll be presenting the Therapeutic Recreation Program's annual report. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Therapeutic recreation programs therapeutic recreation programs provide services to adults with intellectual disabilities. All programs are designed to provide recreation, socialization, and educational opportunities. Staff members provide free drop-in activities which are appropriate to age and skill levels in a friendly and safe environment. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Ken,
Yes.
good afternoon. Can you please put it from the beginning as in the slideshow if you can?
Okay. Yes.
It'll just make it larger for everyone to see.
Okay, is that better?
That's perfect.
Okay, about that. Okay, so let's start over. Therapeutic recreation programs. Therapeutic recreation programs provides services to adults. 1 second, please. I'm getting a call. Sorry about that. Therapeutic recreation programs provide services to adults with intellectual disabilities. The programs are designed to provide recreation, socialization, and educational opportunities. Staff members provide free drop-in activities which are appropriate to age and skill levels in a friendly and safe environment. Therapeutic recreation programs consist of Club Maple and the Get Fit program. The types of disabilities that we cover, ADD, which is attention deficit disorder, dyslexia, intellectual disabilities, learning disorders, autism, and difficulties associated with cognitive abilities, including adaptive, fine motor, perceptual motor, social, and language skills. The Club Maple program. The program prior to COVID met at the center at Maple Park Community Center every Thursday from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Staff members offer a variety of weekly activities such as arts and crafts, games, dances, holiday celebrations, and other social interactive activities. Special events such as the Halloween costume contest, the Thanksgiving event, Christmas party, Valentine's Day dance, and more were held at Maple Park Community Center. The Get Fit program. The Get Fit program is designed to educate adults with intellectual disabilities about how to start and maintain a healthy lifestyle through conditioning, exercise, and nutrition. Weekly activities begin with stretching, conditioning, and include basketball, dodgeball, volleyball, etc. Get Fit is held Mondays, Maple Park, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. The impacts of COVID-19. Since June of 2020, Maple Park and Get Fit have met bi-weekly online. So the program has continued, it's just gone online. Basically, staff has partnered with Adventist Health Glendale Foundation to provide health and wellness information for participants. Different speakers present helpful information on how to eat healthy, stay fit, deal with mental stress during these unprecedented times. The online sessions give participants a chance to get together with their peers in a safe and online setting. Special events and programming. So, if you know anything about Club Maple, it's a program that's built on special events. So with COVID impacting, obviously, the actual in-ground programming, we've done a couple of events, which was a holiday Christmas party, which we gave away sanitizer and a Christmas dinner, as well as a Thanksgiving event where we gave away free chicken dinners from Dinah's Chicken in Glendale, as well as sanitizer as well. And as I mentioned earlier, the programs, both Get Fit and Club Maple, have continued online with presentations from Adventist of Glendale and other speakers just speaking about health and wellness information. Questions or comments?
I was just wondering if, sorry, am I unmuted? I'm unmuted. I was wondering if you ever are able to bring together the families as well as the participants themselves? Like, do you ever do events for all the families?
So that's a good question. Prior to, the COVID shutdown, families were often part of the program, coming to the center for the special events and, for the weekly programming that we held. Now, after COVID that we've gone online, the programming basically, it's obviously an online setting. So once in a while, we get one of the parents or siblings or caregivers sitting with the individuals and, being a part of the program. Because, just to try to navigate through the program, sometimes it takes a little bit of help, depending on the individual's functionality and, severity of the disability.
Ken, if you're still sharing your screen, can you unshare? So
Sure, let me.
There. Or stop sharing, I should say.
There we go. Okay. Stop sharing. There we go.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, my first time, everybody.
it's okay.
You did fine.
Okay, any other question? Okay.
Hi, Commissioner Potel. I want to say how wonderful it is that CSP has a program like this. Thank you for making this happen. It's such an isolating experience, COVID, for many people. And the fact that you amp this up to bi-weekly, is that right? Twice a week?
That's correct. The programs both meet bi-weekly online.
That's fantastic. I don't know if your attendance has grown or gotten smaller through COVID. Certainly, a lot of people have technical challenges.
Yes.
But that being said, the people who are able to make it, I'm sure it's a vital part of just staying connected with folks during this difficult time. And given that there's some challenges, and they're able to have that sense of community with other people who share similar similarities is really quite wonderful. So thank you for all the work you've put into this and the fact that you've made it more available during COVID is really incredible.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Any other questions?
I had a couple of questions.
Commissioner Wilkerson.
first of all, I noticed that we did have some drop off on attendance, but it was steeper for Club Maple than for Get Fit. And I thought Get Fit is for is that for older? I'm not sure. But anyhow, do we know why the drop off was steeper?
Sure, I can answer that question. So both programs, Club Maple and Get Fit, typically before COVID, they take place within the center. Get Fit, when it was physically taking place before COVID, is an exercise program. That's what it means, Get Fit. Basically where they do different exercises within the center, basketball, volleyball, stretching, and so forth. Club Maple is more of a social interactive program. So to do these programs online, obviously poses a little bit of a challenge because, we've done exercises online and so forth with Get Fit, and with Club Maple, we've had different presentations, in terms of health and wellness and just a lot of information, that can benefit our participants. It is a technical issue to get online because, just to be quite frank, the population that we're dealing with often needs assistance to get online, just to set up a camera, just to log on at the right time and day. Because, oftentimes the program has to start at a specific time that we've advertised. Oftentimes you get people logging on a day after or maybe an hour after, and, it just kind of leads to situations where, they're not counted as part of the attendance. So that's just something where we've tried to get our individuals, either a parent or a sibling to assist, or maybe a caregiver. But, online, it has posed its challenges in this particular program, to be honest with you.
Perfect. Thank you for that answer. Sure. And just two quick comments. First of all, this is one of my favorite programs that we have, because I do have two family members who are challenged people, and they're now adults. They used to be children. So it's very nice. It warms my heart. And I'm very proud that CSP is so dedicated to serving this population. And also, I just want to say, I noticed the cost savings in the virtual format. And, that's the type of thing, the unanticipated consequences of these situations when everybody was worried so much about the drop off in revenues. And then we see on the other side of it, we also had reduced expenses. My only concern about that is that it was staff, maybe some hourly staff that lost their income, and I feel bad about that. But other than that, it helps offset some of the fiscal problems due to the pandemic. So thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? If we don't have any questions, next item, please.
Thank you.
Item B is Recreation and Community Services Section Monthly Activity Report for March 2020.
Good afternoon, President Kalfa and members of the Commission. My name is Sabak Garabedian, Senior Community Services Supervisor with the Parks Department. And I'm going to present the February Section Activity Report up to and including today in some matters. So give me a second while I share my screen. And we're all on the page, correct? The first page of the slideshow?
No.
No?
It's not showing you.
Let me try it again. Better now?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So like I said, we'll be going over February and in some cases up to and inclusive of today. So as you all know, or if you're not aware, the county updated its protocols allowing for youth and adult sports to come back to outdoor recreation in the form of basketball and soccer. So our protocols or what is open, what is closed has changed to include the use of sports fields for both youth and adult groups, as well as outdoor basketball courts. So after the county updated its protocols, realigned it with the state, our parks maintenance section, along with public works, spent some time to put all the basketball rims back up and make those available to the community. So since our last meeting, those are the two major changes. I did want to point out for the use of the sports fields for youth, spectators are allowed, and for adults, per the current protocols, spectators are not allowed. However, both have a limitation of no tournaments. And the way the county's defining tournament is one team could play one game per day and not multiple games in a day. Moving forward, our MPOD operations at the Civic Auditorium continue. At the time of the report, we were up to 6 vaccinations. Vaccination days, we've increased that by 12. And currently the Civic Auditorium, since last Saturday, has been doing the second dose vaccination appointments for all the people that started coming in as early as February 21, if I'm not mistaken. So we're now already in the second dose of vaccines. And whoever had an email address when they registered via the website will be given an email notification reminding them to sign up for the second shot. If a person needed to register and staff needed to assist them with the registration, then our staff have been making those calls and making those second round appointments, understanding that they probably need help again for the second appointment. On March 2nd, through Senior Services, they were able to partner with Curative and get 150 vaccines for our seniors 65 and older. And here's some pictures of ARC and Downtown Central Library, and we turned that into a vaccination site, giving out 122 vaccines on that specific day. All the seniors that came on that day already have their second vaccine appointment later on this month. And we're making phone calls to confirm and remind everybody, even though they walked away with a second appointment vaccine card. Some people have been calling us uncertain as to when their second date is and what time. But for the most part, it was really smooth, no commotion. We didn't advertise it. So the issues that we first saw at the Civic Auditorium with people just registering, we had minimal when it came to the ARC. So we were fortunate in that regard. Moving on, beginning of March was Read Across America and Dr. Seuss Week. Here you see a picture of one of our ed camp sites. This is the Civic Auditorium. Staff brought in a book and shared a book each day with the participants for Read Across America and Dr. Seuss's birthday, and did a little show and tell with our ed campers. And we did this at most all of our sites. I like the Civic Auditorium in these pictures because our staff went above and beyond and created a nice reading space for the kids to sit and enjoy. Moving on with that, I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed. We put in the report, Spring Break Camp is up for people to register. It is taking place currently at 2 sites, Pacific and Spar Heights Community Center. Pacific Community Center is at 54 people for the full day care, and SPAR is at 23 people as of today. Capacity at SPAR is 24, capacity at Pacific is 56. So that camp started earlier this morning and will end at the end of this week. Moving forward, our spring session, Education Connection and Maple Stars After School Camp, Ed Camp will starting Monday, March 22. Spring is a 12-week session. And we had a total of, we currently have a total, and I'm sharing the numbers here week by week, but we have a total of 967 duplicated participants through all 12 weeks. That's a 52% capacity rate. And the Maple Stars After School Care portion is at 867 duplicated participants. So we're 47% full there. The reason why I'm sharing the chart is to see just to share, like places like Dunsmore Park or Joe Bridges Clubhouse at Glen Oaks Park, their max capacity is at 12 because of the space, and Dunsmore has room for one more, so to speak, with all but 1 week. Joe Bridges is already at max capacity, while the Civic and Maple are close behind. And we've already sent reminder emails to folks across all sites to re-register for spring as they need to re-enroll. Our virtual programs continue department-wide, section-wide. On March 2nd, I wanted to highlight that our Youth and Family Services section, in partnership with Gunda Unified School District's College and Career Division, hosted a virtual resource fair. Last year was the first time we had this resource fair. We went out to the high school campuses and basically advertised all the departments that high school seniors or teens even could to work at and get some experience. This year, due to COVID and school not being held in person, we did it virtually, and we had about 47 participants join us on that day with all of our departments, and it was on Tuesday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Trails and Open Space continues posting videos and updating our its webpage, our web pages, so to speak, our My Glendale Parks at Home or Glendale Parks at Home, and on our YouTube page. Virtual senior programming, Wise and Healthy Aging. Wise and Healthy Aging offered a virtual presentation on senior scam and fraud self-defense on February 16, Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, February 17, the seniors played bingo, virtual bingo again. Our therapeutic recreation programs, as you just heard in Ken's report, continue with Club Maple and Get Fit, and our partnership with Adventist continues as well. Whereas the programs were in person and a lot of it was physical activity, partnering with Adventist helps us fill up some hour of programming time, and they do a presentation for the first part, and then Ken and our staff take over for the second part of the presentations. Youth and Family Services, our STAR program continues to meet virtually weekly. Students training as role models. In the month of February, they had 2 presentations. One was on cyber bullying, and the other one was about healthy and unhealthy habits. Our Teen Night Out workshops continue. Our February workshops included self-esteem and positive thinking, love yourself and love your life, random acts of kindness, changing bodies, brains, and roles in the community. And with March and March Madness, and all of us being sports people here in this section for the most part, March's topics are all about basketball and the tournament and Glendale basketball history and Glendale College and players that have gone to play Division I. So it should be fun for some of our participants for the month of March. And that continues, concludes my presentation. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Try to take your screen up here. Any questions? Go ahead, please.
I noticed some of the hoops were reinstalled at the basketball courts at a couple of the parks. Are the actual indoor gymnasiums back up and running, and what are the protocols that are in place?
Sure. President Kafa and members of the commission, our indoor facilities are not up and running at this time. The only places where basketball or soccer or baseball or softball is allowed is outdoor spaces. So in terms of outdoor recreation and basketball hoops, yes, that is okay. In terms of indoor, from the last time we checked our county protocols, assuming it hasn't changed from last night to today, indoor they're speculating is going to open up in the yellow tier. Now I say that with the following in mind. They did say that outdoor basketball was going to take place when we hit the orange tier, and then a couple of days later they went and changed that out and said it's available now. And there was no original direction with regards to adult sports, but when they re-upped it and clarified it and updated on March 1st or 2nd, they included adult sports as well. So it does change, but as of right now, there's nothing that allows for indoor basketball play in any way, shape, or form. Indoor basketball, indoor soccer, indoor badminton, table tennis, whatever the case may be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions, please?
I just wanted to,
go ahead.
Am I jumping on top? I'm sorry.
Wilferson, yeah, go ahead.
I'll just go. I'm very quickly. I just want to thank you so much for the MPODs. I know I got a lot of comments from people in the neighborhood that were thrilled to get their shots at the Civic Auditorium. And also thank you for the virtual resource fair. I think that kids, it's such an uncertain time right now, and they really need some encouragement and resources like that. That's awesome. So I'm very grateful that we do these things. Thank you.
Commissioner Eberly.
I was just wondering the shots that you gave to the seniors in the senior program. Do you know, were those people were all eligible for vaccines before that, but were unable to get appointments, or they were less late? I'm just curious what we learned from doing that.
Sure, President Coffin, Commissioner Eberly, what we learned was some of them were very apprehensive. Some people had signed up for an opportunity at Memorial Hospital but never showed, basically just didn't want to show up. Some people, though, when we were making our phone calls, it was a 900-person list that we were calling off of. And it took about 4 staff to divide that list and make those calls. A lot of people were saying, we already have it, we're not interested. Some people were turning around and saying, we're waiting for the Johnson & Johnson. Some people were like, oh, it's Moderna, no, we want Pfizer. Now, if it's actual true statements that they're saying that, or it's just an excuse that they were providing to us just to make us hang up the phone, unknown. On the day of, I could tell you that the 122 people that did get vaccinated, all 122 were 65 and older and qualified in the current tier. And I say that because we actually asked Curative, what happens if somebody is 63 and their spouse is over 65? Can we register them for a vaccine? Originally, they said yes. And then over the weekend, something changed with the requirement, and they turned around and asked us to make phone calls to all those that were not 65 yet on the day of the vaccine, and turn around and let them know that we need to cancel their appointment. So our numbers kind of dropped down from there, and then we had to turn away some people. Some people were caretakers, and until now, caretakers were being allowed. On the day of, our partner basically said they need to focus on 65 and older. That's the direction they got from the county. They're seeing a gap in the county's numbers, and that's what they wanted to target, and that was it. So we didn't have any wiggle room. We couldn't even put in staff or anything along those lines. Any kind of excuse you could have thought of, even though saying March 1, it's now open for teachers and education, it's now open for this. Ours was at the Civic, at ARC, it was strictly 65 and older.
Do you feel confident that it was worth the effort to do this? Like, you got enough people that wouldn't have otherwise gotten vaccinated that it was?
Sure, President Coffin, members of our commission, Commissioner Eberly, I do think it was worth our while. I do think that there's an opportunity for more vaccines, and we are actually working with Curative to add 100 more first round doses on the second day that they show up. So if you imagine on Group A showed up on March 2, Group A will get their second doses on March 30th. We want to vaccinate 100 more, call them Group B, on March 30th as well, on the same day, and then have them come around for their second appointment on day C, which is 28 days later, assuming it's Moderna, 21 if it's Pfizer. So yes, there is an opportunity. We're still working for that, and we're working with our community partners through the help of our senior services staff and Maggie. We did reach out to a couple of service providers and said, of the 150, here's 15. Call 15 of your people that say yes, give us the name of 15 people that say yes, name, first name, last name, phone number. And we were able to fill up those spots easier than the ones that we were making the phone calls for. And there was some requests after the fact. Now, we've been able to take care of all those additional requests with the Civic Auditorium's MPOD operation. But nonetheless, the opportunity, should it happen to come across our desk again, I think 100 more would definitely be beneficial.
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Patel.
Hi, yeah, I just want to say how wonderful it is to see the progress that you're able to make with the MPODs, and just seeing more and more people get vaccinated is very, very exciting and very hopeful. And people within our community, specifically, seeing them get more and more of them get vaccinated. I look forward to hearing about future MPODs once more tiers open up. And I just want to say how much I really appreciate you all working through the weekend in order to make these efforts come to fruition. The other thing I want to say is that I have been, I've been emailing Oneg so much, asking about the education pods and all of your protocols. And I just have to say how impressed I am. I'm just, once again, I feel like a little bit like a broken record, but I think it deserves recognition again how much work you all put into not only providing this necessary service for so many families of childcare when there is so little available and has been so little available, and that you are also very, very clear on the various protocols that you are following and why and how. And I just want to say how much I appreciate not only providing that service, but also being willing to answer all of my questions as schools begin to open and I come to understand what kind of protocols are happening within the public schools. And you guys have shed a lot of light on some of those protocols. So thank you so much. Thank you for all you're doing.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wilfredson, if you want to close the meeting with hard work, how hard the staff works at this time. You're good at it.
I already spoke up. Thank you so much.
Actually, President Kalfai and members of the commission, if I can say a few words.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Patel, thank you. But all the recognition should go out to, Teresa, Sevag, and Gabrielle and staff working out on the field and developing those protocols, working with LA County and assisting in the child care connection. Every section in our department, like I mentioned the last, previous meetings, every section in our department, from recreation, park services, homeless services, workforce development. We stopped doing what we were doing pre-COVID and responded to COVID and assisting the community as much as we can. In terms of MPODs and expanding the MPODs, I did have a meeting this morning with our fire chief, police chief, Glendale Adventist, GCC. We are going to have a larger MPOD site at GCC, probably beginning of April, mid-April, vaccinating 2,500 residents per day. It's going to be a 4-day-a-week operation, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Everything is really preliminary, but this is what we're aiming for starting in April. When we receive more information, we will post on social media and email the commissioners and the public on that vaccination site. So our goal is to vaccinate 2,500 residents per day, with Glendale Adventist being the lead and Glendale Memorial assisting in the vaccination efforts, as well as PD, fire, and CSP. And then talking to the chief of fire chief this morning, they're also going to start a program to assist homebound seniors in vaccinating, something similar to a mobile clinic. They will go out to the seniors' residents, vaccinate them the first dose and also the second dose. That's also preliminary, but we will be working with the fire chief and providing with a name of all of the homebound seniors that we know of that we provide meals to for them to get vaccinated. So more to come on that within the next couple weeks.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much for joining. And our next meeting will be April 19, 2021 via teleconference. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.